So you notice that we're not through the whole chapter. This chapter has a lot in it. So I think it's best that we kind of split it up and do just a piece at a time. So this front page, now again, I didn't spread anything out. I didn't give you room to work. I didn't give you answer lines or anything like that. But this is the whole test. Okay, these are the questions on the test. So you'll notice there's really only 5 sections. So there's 5 things that we need. All right, so I'm gonna start number 1, and when I am done with number 1, our quizzes are turned in. We need to be finished with these quizzes, okay? So here we go, number 1. This is a domain thing. We actually have done a lot with domain. Does anybody know the answer to any of these domain questions? X is greater than or equal to 3. That is exactly right. Perfect. Beautiful. Because what's the rule? Whatever is under the radical has to be bigger than or equal to 0. All right, good. What's another one? Anybody know another one, Gio?
X plus 1 equal to 0, and then, yeah, that.
X plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. So X is greater than or equal to negative 1.
And then X minus 2 can't equal to 0.
Perfect, so X can't be 2. Now, both of these go in the answer blank, right? Remember, domain has 2 things to look at. A radical and a denominator. If you happen to have both things, then you're going to have a 2-part answer. We only had one of them up here, so we had a 1-part answer. Right? All right, how about this one, since we're going in order? What about this guy? Yep. And Jimmy, how did you know that?
There's no radical.
No radical, no denominator. What are the problems in domain land? Radicals and denominators. If you don't have them, then your answer is all real numbers. Perfect. All right, what about this guy? Last one.
X cannot equal to 6.
X plus 6 can't be 0, so X cannot be negative 6. That's the answer. All right, does anybody have a question about part 1? We're good on that? Perfect, perfect. By the way, on Tuesday, we have class again on Tuesday. We're gonna take another BFF quiz, exactly like the one we just took. Now, if you got all 12 right, so in other words, if I put your score in and it's a 14, because you got all 12 right plus the bonus, you don't have to take the quiz again. You'll automatically get another perfect score. Okay? If you didn't get a perfect score, then you're going to take another one and hopefully get a perfect score the next time. Okay? Do you understand? Sincere? Am I making sense to you? Okay. So I'm going to grade them. I'm going to put the grades in. If you see a 14, that means you're off the hook. You did it. If you see anything else, that means you're going to take it again, the same kind of quiz, the exact same format on Tuesday. Okay? Should this be easy points for you folks? Yes. Oh my gosh. Huh? Yeah, but I don't think we have this class Monday, do we? Today's day 1. I don't think I see you on day 2. So I think Tuesday's when I do see you. Okay? All right. All right, next part. Find the implicit functions for this. All right, this is the last thing we learned. Who remembers how this works? Find the implicit functions.
You have to set it equal to 1.
We gotta get y by itself, right? So, if I subtract x squared, I'll have negative y squared equals 9 minus x squared. Would you agree with that? Then I'll divide by negative 1. So y squared equals negative 9 plus x squared. And then what?
Square root.
Square root. And then there'll be, on the real test, there'll be 2 answer blanks. And you'll write y equals the square root. And y equals the negative square root. Now, if you have these things turned around, that's okay. This is the same as x squared minus 9. So don't think you're wrong. If you have them, if you have these two flip-flops, you have x squared first and then the minus 9, that's fine.
Could it be I? Oh.
No. We talked about this yesterday. Oh yeah, that's right, you weren't here. We can't simplify these at all. Okay? We're done. After we square root, we're done. Okay? That's part 2. We good on that? So far, I hope you have an A+. Now, 3 is a little bit more challenging. So we're gonna look at this. You do not have to graph it. No one is asking you to graph this thing. You're just finding the horizontal asymptotes, the vertical asymptotes, and the holes. Now, tell me about the holes. When do I get holes?
When we cancel out.
When we cancel out. So look at this problem. Is anything gonna cancel out? Remember, you can't, Terry, paying attention, sweetheart? You can't cancel unless you factor first. Nothing factors, so we're not gonna cancel. So there aren't any holes, so you write none. Easy points, none.
Is that how it's gonna be written on the test?
Mhm.
Just HAVA?
Yep, well, let me look at that one I wrote down. Yeah, that's how I have it written on the other practice. The last practice test has the exact test format. Yeah. Now, these might be in a different order, but it's vertical asymptotes, horizontal asymptotes, and holes. All right, so what can you tell me about these two? Anybody know those? X can't equal negative 1, because of the denominator right there. So that means that's my vertical asymptote. If you write x can't equal, I'm not marking it wrong, because you're right, x can't equal negative 1. But the actual line, the asymptote itself, is x equals negative 1. Good. How about a horizontal asymptote?
3.
What'd you say? 3. And she got 3 because she boxed these in. Do you guys remember that? Now, you can't just write 3. You have to write y equals 3. Asymptotes are lines, and therefore they are equations. Not numbers, they're equations. All right, everybody okay with the first one there? All right, let's look at B. Same question. How are we gonna start B now? We're gonna do something a little bit different, I think.
Factor.
We're gonna start by factoring it. And how does it factor? X plus 2, x minus 2, over x plus 5? Is that right? All right. Tell me what you know about any of it.
X
Do we have any rules this vertical is x equals -5, because x plus 5 can't be 0, so x can't be -5. And cannot be's are vertical asymptotes. Perfect. Here's a tricky one. What about horizontal?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing. Very good, Anjani. Why? Why?
0 can't be denominator.
Exactly. Remember how we did this, guys? We boxed in the 3 and the 1, right? So we're gonna box in. That's how we do horizontals. We box them in. But what's the problem?
0x.
There's no x squared on the bottom. And when you box in, it has to be x squared, or xx. It can't be 1x squared and 1x. You have to box in the same letter. Well, there's no x squared down there, so I go ahead and write 1 in so I can box it. But now I have 1 over 0. I have a 0 in the bottom. And zeros in the bottom are not allowed. Okay, perfect. All right, one more. Oh, so it's a little bigger. What do you think we'll do with this one? Factor. Now, keep your beady-little eyes open here, people. Is that the difference of squares? Not right here, it's not. Is 27 a square? But what do you notice about that numerator?
You can take out a 3.
You can take out a 3. And if we take out a 3, look what we have left. Now, do we have the difference of squares? So my numerator has the 3 I took out, and then it has x plus 3, x minus 3. And then what about the denominator of the problem? X minus 3, minus 1. Thank you, Gabby. Uh-oh, what happens? We can cancel. So for the first time this morning, we are actually going to have a whole, this is my new problem. I just recopied. And we're actually now going to have a hole in the picture. Now, a hole is a point. What is the x coordinate of the point? 3. That's what canceled out. X is 3. That's what canceled out. How do I get the other half of the point? Plug 3 back into here. So I have 3 times 3 plus 3 over 3 minus 1. So that is 18 over 2. Did you get 9? Are we good? All right, tell me about vertical and horizontal then. Look at, this is your problem now, once you're looking at that guy. What's your vertical? What can x not be? 1. So your vertical is 1. What's my horizontal? Y equals 3. For the horizontals, if it's easier for you, you can box in at the beginning of the problem. box in here. Caius,
Why didn't we take out 3x instead of 3?
in the beginning,
Yeah.
there's no X in the 27.
But why don't we take the x squared? Like one of the x's out?
Because if you factor, it has to come out of both things. Remember? So it doesn't, there's no X in the second part, so.
Precal
Sorry. Alright, that's a big one. That's a big problem. Anybody have an issue with it? No? Alright, we're almost done with the test, guys. Okay, number 4 is a sketch. So you are going to draw, what, 6 pictures? And the first one is a piecewise function. Alright. Who remembers our strategy here? What do we do to start? Sydney, do you remember? These are the weird graphs that we do in pieces. So we start by looking right here, and that tells us that our picture is going to be broken at 2. And I really think it's a good idea to put that squiggly line in, because what happens on that squiggly line? That's where our dots are, right? Somehow you gotta have dots in this picture, and if you have your squiggly line there, you know they go on there. Okay. Let's look at the top equation. Y equals 2x plus 1. Do not dare be confused. What shape is y equals mx plus b? That's a line, right? That's a line. And it has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 1. It's been picked up 1. So here's 1, and then I'm gonna go up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1, and there is my line. Kids, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be a line with a slope of about 2 and a y-intercept of 1. You've done that for a long time. Don't make it hard. Now, it crosses the squiggly right here. Will that be an open dot or a closed dot there where it crosses my squiggly line? It's gonna be open. And then I know that I'm going to keep that piece of it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get rid of all this work that I did right here, it's gone. And so far, all I have is this big open dot and this thing shooting off like that. These take a minute, take your time, you can do it. What's that? That shape is a V. Right, absolute value? Hopefully everyone got that right on the quiz. It crosses the squiggly right here. And that will be a solid dot this time. And which part am I keeping? The left. So I'm gonna erase this little piece right here. I'm gonna take my squiggly out. If you think of it, go ahead and take it out. If you don't, that's fine. And here's your picture. Now that one is by far the most involved graph. The rest of these are just alterations of your BFFs. So in other words, when you look at letter B, it says y equals the absolute value of x minus 3. So what shape is that gonna be? You know what shape that is. That's gonna be a V. But because of this right here, it has shifted to the right 3. So you're just gonna come over here, gonna label that point, and you're gonna draw your V. That's all you have to do. You will miss points if you don't label it. So make sure you label it, but that's it. Easy. C. When I start putting in sines and cosines, those get a little bit trickier. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna sketch, maybe with a dash line or something, my original sign. Would everybody agree that that's my dash line there is the original sign, your BFF sign? Remember, they go up 1 and down 1. That's important. Because now what I'm gonna do is take that picture and drop it down 1 unit. Down 1. So that means every point is going down 1. So this one was at the origin, so he's dropped down 1, drop down 1. Everything is dropping down 1. So your answer looks like this. Remember, the hills and valleys of the sine curve are 1, up 1, down 1. So it used to be between 1 and -1. If you drop it down 1, it will be between 0 and -2. Does that make sense? All right, the rest of them are much easier than that. What shape is the next one? D. Squaring, which means it's what shape? Parabola, right? Okay. Where's it moved? Left 1 and down 2. So I just move it over or down or whatever. Left 1 and down 2. If you don't already know the rules here, make sure you know them. That's inside, so that's left and right, plus is left. This is outside, that's up and down, minus is down. All right. What shape is this? Kayla? Kayla, are you being distracting back there? I'm thinking a new seat might be in order for you, Sunshine.
Me? I'm good.
Yeah, you.
Okay.
I think we're gonna move. We'll talk about it after class. All right.
Let me find, no, I'll answer the question though. Let me find it.
Okay, we shouldn't be having to look it up. Remember, we memorized these. What shape is the cubic function?
It's like the.
It's the
What?
squiggle.
Oh,
What has okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. This is the normal squiggle. And it squiggles through the origin. What have I done to it? Up 1. So now it's gonna squiggle through this point right here. So it's the same picture, but it squiggles up there. right, one more, what shape is this?
Square root.
This is a square root. And what shape is a square root? Dot at the origin and up and out, right? Well, that dot's not at the origin anymore, where is it?
Right to three.
Right 3, and up 2. One more section and this test will be over. All right, so we've got a couple of random functions called f and g. And we are going to do some things with them. All right, how do you think we're going to do that first one? How do we do f of 2? Plug 2 in for x in f, right? So f of 2 will be 2 times 2 squared plus 1. Right, time out. Order of operations. What do I do first? 2 squared? Well, 2 squared is 4. Times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Everybody okay with that? Or PEMDAS? All right, how about g of negative 3? What happens there? Negative 3 into g. So g of negative 3 would be 3 times negative 3 minus 4. Negative 9 minus 4, negative 13. Now, Now, what does the problem tell me to do? I got an answer for f of 2, and I got an answer for g of negative 3. What does the problem tell me to do with those? Add them. So the answer will be negative 4.
Negative 4.
9 and negative 13. Okay, what do I do here? F of x minus g of x. What do I do with that?
Did you do the same thing except subtract at like bottom?
Well, except there's no numbers in here. So this says just take f of x, which is 2x squared plus 1, and subtract g of x. And those parentheses are necessary because I'm subtracting that whole function, which means I'll have 2x squared plus 1 minus 3x plus 4. So 2x squared minus 3x plus 5, I think is my answer. Does that look okay? Alrighty. How about the next one here? What do I do first? This is a 2-step problem. What do I do first? Joshua? Put 3 into G. Right, start right here. Put 3 into G. Now, when I put 3 into G, I get 3 times 3 minus 4, which is 5. So I put 3 in for x in the g function. Now, 5 isn't the answer though. What do I need to do with the 5?
Plug it into G.
Plug it into F. When you have 2 letters, you find the first letter first, then you take that answer and plug it into the second letter. So F of 5. PEMDAS, this is gonna be a nightmare. Do not say 101, it is not 101, it is 51. Because what do I do first right here? Do I do 2 times 5? No, I do 5 squared times 2 plus 1. One more problem. How does this one work?
Wait, on that last one?
Uh-huh.
You just leave it as 2 answers because it doesn't say add or subtract.
No. This is the final answer. Because the first answer actually gets plugged in, it's no longer an answer. It gets plugged in to get the second answer.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, how about the last problem? Who knows what we do there? Gia?
You plug f of x for g's x.
Exactly. So we know that f of x equals 2x squared plus 1. So this is 2x squared plus 1, and it's going into g. Don't let the notation bother you. You don't even need to write that down if you want. Just know that this is going in right here. F goes into the x's in g. So 3 times 2x squared plus 1 minus 4. Cleaning it all up, I got 6x squared minus 1 if I did it right. Okay, you know what we just did? We just took the test, yep. So you know what we're gonna do now? We're gonna turn it over. And I'm gonna have you do number 1 on practice test 2. Right now, because we just finished it. Remember, problems can be in a different order, right? So now, what was the last problem on test 1 is now the first problem on test 2. Ayrton?
Do you have the equations for like the last problem on the test? Or where's it related?
You mean like the F and G?
Yeah.
Oh, no, those are given to you every time. So like on this test, test 2, they're not even F and G, now they are M and N. They're given to you. They're just random things made up, okay? So why don't you see, then this is the last thing we'll do. We'll do number 1 and then we'll be done. Why don't you see how far you can get practice test 2, number 1. And if you're struggling with like A, then try B. Or C or D. See if you can get any of these on practice test 2. Did anybody so far get any of these A, B, C, or D? What'd you get, Brian?
4x squared plus 5.
For A? Oh, wow, you did the hard one first, good job. So n of x is x squared plus 2. So then he took that x squared plus 2 and plugged it into m. So 4x squared plus 2 minus 3. So what did you say, 4x squared? Yes, awesome, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Does anyone have a question about that? Why is your phone in your hand? Oh, it's your calculator, thank God. Okay. All right, Neil, which one did you do?
B.
Yep, what'd you say?
Are we supposed to group them, or can
Are
we
we
just
supposed to what?
group?
Well, we're supposed to do m of 2, so we're gonna plug 2 into m. So what did you get for m of 2?
Well, my end result, I got negative 1x squared plus 4x, but I didn't group.
Okay, for problem B, we're looking at the same problem, right? Okay, whatever you're talking about is not right. We put 2 into m. So 4 times 2 minus 3, we get 5. There's nothing to group, it's a number, it's 5. Then we put 3 into n, so we get 3 squared plus 2, which is 11. And then we, in this problem, subtract those, so 5 minus 11, the answer is negative 6. When they give you a number, Chiho, just plug it in. That's, don't make it hard, just plug it in. Which is exactly what's gonna happen here, right? Where am I gonna plug 1? Into n. And when I plug 1 into n, did you get 3? And then what do we do with the 3? Did anybody get 9 for that one? Perfect. Now, Gino, are there any numbers in here? No. So I just take my m function, whatever it is, 4x minus 3, and multiply it times my n function. There's nothing to plug in this time, I just do m times n. So 4x cubed, that's what I got. I don't think any terms combine, do they? That's it. Okay, so what happens Tuesday? Well, first of all, you got some homework due today and you have homework due Monday. And then what happens Tuesday? Another quiz unless you ace this one.
So if I get 13.